around without a care. Dancing, messy buns up in our hair. We're not bothered if you stare. We're dancing in our underwear. Dancing, moving around without a care. Dancing, messy buns up in our hair. We're not bothered if you stare. We're dancing in our underwear.
Welcome back to Drag and Burlesque Diaries. Today I am joined by George Glass. I'm super excited about that name, by the way. George Glass was born on a warm June night in 2024. With no drag mother, father, or family, he emerged from the collective unconscious to troll men and titillate many. He has since gone on to be a finalist in House of Melt's first ever bragging rights competition and the Mix Thespus Spring 2025 competition, in addition to forming House of Glass, through which he co-hosts a daytime open stage for drag kings and things, Tea Party with D'Angelo the Deviant. Welcome! It's so lovely to have you.
It's very lovely to be here. I'm truly very flattered, very chuffed.
I am obsessed with your drag name, but in case any listeners don't know, can you tell us the backstory for your stage name?
Sure. Yeah, because what's interesting is a lot of people will say, like, oh, George Glass, I love the movie Bridesmaids, because Kristen Wiig's character in that talks about, her boyfriend or something, George Glass. But what she's referring to is an episode of The Brady Bunch where Jan, the middle of the three girls, is making up a boyfriend that like goes to another school, and she's like, his name's George, and she looks around the room and sees a glass on the table and says George Glass. And so and you'll hear it everywhere. Like I've heard even like Trixie Mattel did it on one of those YouTube things. It's just like it's this idea of this imaginary boyfriend, Jan's imaginary boyfriend, but then kind of whoever's imaginary boyfriend. And
I love that.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And thanks for sharing that. I was not aware of the Brady Bunch reference, but I love that. That's such a cool full backstory. Yeah. Can you introduce us to your drag persona and tell us a bit about how you got started?
Sure. So my drag persona, George Glass, right? I've come to describe him as like part sad boy, part sex pop, part psychopath, 100% glass. That's like the short tagline. Because I do feel like those are the layers to him, and that's the layers in a lot of my performances that I either start out doing sexy and then that kind of reveals to being vulnerable and then that reveals to anger, or I'll start kind of sad, revealing to kind of sexy to anger. It all comes down to just kind of anger and unhingedness. Those are like the onions of George. And it was a really kind of slow build up to like being George and performing as George, and like going to a drag themed party with a friend, with this guy I was dating at the time, and we both got into drag. And I remember being like, saying to him, like, we've never been hotter or better. Like, I was just like, this is us. This is it. Like, this is, and because it felt really good and freeing. And then like a year passes, and then I like went to Bushwig and like went kind of in drag, and then like some more time passes, and like there were just all these starts. And then in the end, the thing that really like was the big thing was this performer, Olive, who used to go by Ginger Snap, was doing like a walk for the AIDS walk in, I want to say May or June 2024, and had just posted online, and I had like kind of made an account for George and was following, but a bunch of performers posted looking for people who wanted to be a part of the AIDS walk and saying like, anyone could join. And so I reached out not thinking anything would happen. And then, of course, it was like anyone could join. And I even did have the opportunity to perform then. And I only worked the door at like the pre-walk event because I just was like, I can't perform But then after that, I kind of reached out to some of the people who had walked like alongside me, like who'd been in it as well. I reached out to Olive, obviously, and to Martyr. And people were just like, Martyr was like, oh, go to Mad Mondays, because I was just like, where does one even perform? Like, I just really didn't know. I had been to Bushwick, I had been to some switch and play shows, but like, I really didn't know how to do that. And so then, yeah, and then I just started doing Mad Mondays and started doing, like open bussy stage at Pink Metal and the one at Purgatory, and that was that.
Um, can y- I'm trying. What is the main city that you do drag in?
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Okay.
Brooklyn. Like I live in Brooklyn. I do drag in Brooklyn. I have done some Manhattan shows. I've done like one upstate gig. I'm from originally Utah, born and raised. And I did perform once in Salt Lake City at Waikiki. Shout out. It was like for me, that was like it was just like their open stage, but for me it was like this is my hometown, so it was a big deal to perform there. And I've done like the Trevi Lounge one that Frankie Cyanide does. I want to say that's in Connecticut. I don't understand East Coast geography. It could be in Pennsylvania. I think it's in Connecticut. I know we took a train to get there. But yeah, no, almost mostly Brooklyn and Manhattan. Queens, I
That's
guess, a tiny
awesome.
bit.
It
Yeah.
sounds like you really like hit the ground running. You started and then you've done a lot in it's been a year?
A little over a year. Yeah, June was like my drag-iversary.
That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Um you had told me before you started doing drag at 38, which is a bit older than many people when they begin. What was the catalyst for you to finally step into drag at that point in your life?
Hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, it was partly just this random opportunity with Olive posting about the AIDS walk, but also honestly, I mean, I think some people have like beautiful and triumphant drag birth stories, and I think mine is like less so, but I really just felt at that time I had nothing left to lose,
Mm-hmm.
for a long time I had had friends in my life that like weren't really great for me, and I had kind of just become aware of that and become aware of like, oh yeah, like you shouldn't feel like you can't be yourself around your friends, and you shouldn't feel like your friends want you to be smaller or less, and kind of like as I naturally started not doing that, those relationships kind of melted away or just like or fell apart or like one person moved or whatever. And so it was just like, oh, all of a sudden I know it was like I was at a time where I had very, very, very few friends, but I also had no longer had people that made me feel like these wild ideas I would get were like
Mm.
dumb or ill-conceived. So it was just like, yeah, like I have nothing left to lose, you know, might as well.
I definitely relate to that. I
Mm.
have a very similar story of like very weeding out a lot of my friends, and then my wife is kind of the person that made me feel okay to be whoever I wanted. So I got to explore drag and gender through drag. So
Mm.
I love hearing that story from you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I love that for you too. So you have that with your wife, that's so great.
it's been really nice to like find out who I am actually and not just who I was performing,
Yeah.
like it's kind of wild the journey that drag takes you on of like for so long I was performing gender as a femme lesbian, and then I started doing drag and I'm performing gender again but in a different way that feels a lot more authentic to myself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that resonates for sure.
What's it been like to be a newbie in a performance scene that has so many long established artists?
a nightmare. It's just, I hate it. It's just because it's like the people who are like my peers socially, people who I would want to hang out with and would be hanging out with, or who are like similar to the people I do hang out with outside of drag, they're for the most part much further into their careers, or into their drag careers, into their artistry and all that. And so it's like, yeah, it would be presumptuous to be like, we should hang, even though it's like, but we are peers in that way. And then the people who are kind of like in my drag cohort, if you will, they're awesome and talented and we do hang, but it's just like, wow, like I am old enough to be like your teen mom, So and it's just like that's hard. And a lot of them, it's like not that I don't value their opinions or their artistry, because I do, but like it just like if you separate it from the world of drag, like that's weird. That's weird if I was like, yeah, there's this like 39-year-old person that's like really cares a lot what all these people in their early to mid 20s think and is like trying to impress them. You'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with that person? But I have to do that for drag. Like I have to. I have to care what they
Hmm.
think if they're producers, and I do want, so that's just hard. That's just hard because sometimes I do just feel, and even just like shows start so late. Like Grandpa's
Oh
got
my
to go
God.
to bed.
Yes.
Things like that. Like Grandpa's got to go to bed. Grandpa like or yeah, or the pace. I think it's really nice to hear you say that you feel like I've accomplished a lot, because it does feel sometimes like my drag career is advancing more slowly than others because I don't perform as often. Like I'm
Hmm.
not out there hitting the stage 2, 3, 4 times a week. It's more like 2, 3, max 4 times a month, which I've made peace with, but like that does naturally kind of slow things down because I'm also just not able to like attend shows as much because they're late because I have a
Hmm.
job ability. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, interesting would be the nice short answer. Hellish would be the more accurate answer. Yeah.
I definitely relate to all of that. And also being chronically ill and elderly in the drag community, uh, it is hard when, like, you want to progress your career and network and go to shows and stuff, but where are your spoons? You don't have any. And it's like all of the open stage shows start at like 11 p.m. And you're like, I'm asleep for 2 hours by that point.
For sure. That's horizontal time. Or
Yes.
like also another thing is like I feel like sometimes the music choices I make are not great fits for the audience. And then also I go to a ton of shows where like people are doing great numbers, but I'm just like, I've never heard this song before in my life. And everyone's like, what? That's a Sabrina Carpenter song or things like that. Like I don't know. I'm out of touch with the music. I'm out here doing, Frankie Valli.
Yeah, I remember one of my first like hosting uh gigs, I mispronounced Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
I definitely got quickly called out for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like, oops, sorry.
I'm
Sorry.
old. I don't know.
Right? Or like every ad that I don't love SpongeBob. I don't even hate SpongeBob. I just
Just
neutral. Like I
neutral
just
on it.
care. I just don't care. But then people act like that is like a crime and a sin, and I'm like, I'm old. Like, what do you want? I'm really old. There's all these like SpongeBob drag shows and Pokemon drag shows, and I'm
Hmm.
just I don't know about that. I want to do an
Yeah.
Olsen Twins one. Like
Oh
I
my
want.
God, that would be amazing. I love that. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, can you tell me about an embarrassing or unexpected moment that you've had on stage?
Absolutely. So one of my first gigs, I want to say it was like my fourth ever time performing ever. And it's where I met my drag brother, D'Angelo the Deviant, because we were cast, it was a Mario themed show, and I was Mario and he was Luigi, which is funny because I'm a full head taller than him. Whatever, all body types are valid for cartoon characters for sure. And so we connected right away. But I just like I had this whole reveal where I was supposed to take off my pants and do like the whole, basically like second two-thirds or at least second half of the number in just my underwear and like shirt, which was open, but like no pants. But I just like hadn't practiced it. I
Hmm.
didn't when I first started because I lacked confidence even to practice, even to like practice at home. I like didn't even necessarily have the confidence for that. So I hadn't practiced and my pants didn't come off. So I had to do this second half with my pants around my ankles. I mean, it's in my Instagram. Um, we're like on this rooftop and I was just like, and it was, I couldn't hear the music. It was the only time I've worn a wig. It was bad. Like the whole thing was just bad. But I now actually have gone on to do at least two, maybe more, two or three other numbers where I drop my pants to my ankles. Like that, I was like, this is my thing now. This is my thing. It's not that I do it every time, but yeah, because in the moment I was just like, I'm a rookie. I don't know what I'm doing. But now I was just like, whatever, it doesn't matter, you know. Pants around the ankles, who cares?
That is probably one of my biggest mistakes is forgetting to take something off or
Right? Like,
or
oops.
just like running out of time to add snaps to my pants and forgetting that I either have to take my shoes off first or I'm
Yeah.
just waddling around with pants around the ankles.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure.
If you could have a do-over on your very first performance, what's one thing you would change and one thing you would keep the same?
I would practice more. That's what I would change. Like I said, like I just, when I first started, I wouldn't practice enough because it was like drag gave me so much anxiety to begin with. Even though it was like what I wanted more than anything, it still stressed me the fuck out. And so I would have just practiced more because I just wasn't prepared. And I had this like delusion that like I'm going to have this amazing debut and people are going to be blown away. And it was fine. It was, you know. So I would just have practiced more and like fleshed it out a bit more. But I think overall, the costume, like what I wore, which wasn't anything fancy, but like the look and the concept overall, I stand by. And I did like revisit that number later. But yeah, it just was like, I remember as I was performing, right? This is at Mad Mondays, like as the song was going, just thinking like, wow, this song is going for a really long time. Like just feel like just almost full association. I was just like, whoa, we're still doing this, aren't we?
Do you have a favorite performance that you've done or favorite character that you like to do?
Oh, for sure. I have this number that I'm gonna get to do more coming up. It's to this old kind of like indie folk or whatever song called Psycho by this guy Jack Cattell. He kind of a one-hit wonder guy. And I just am this like murderous, violent cowboy, but it's kind of a slow build to
I
it.
love
It's like a very slow build. Yeah, and I love that one because it's got one of my biggest reveals and my biggest like moments. But it's also I think showcases like that I'm good at lip syncing. I mean, according to me. But like more than anything, it was like up. I you know because I started in June 2024, and I did this in like November. This number for the first time 2024, and it was the first time up until that point. Every time I performed, the energy was very pick me. It was very like I hope they like me. I hope they like it. I want them to like it. And this time I remember going into it being like, I hope they're disturbed. Like, I hope they're upset. And that was a huge shift in how I approached drag, that it wasn't about like them liking me or picking me or choosing me or like being a fan, even that it was about like, what is the emotion I'm trying to elicit with this performance and then like aiming for that. Yeah.
love that.
Well, thank you.
Um, if George Glass had a
Mhm.
theme song, what would it be and why?
Okay, so low key he does. It's not like one in the world. If George Glass had a theme song in the world, it would be probably this song called Lonely by I'm gonna search it up because I don't want to mess it up. Or Mr. Lonely. Uh Bobby Vinton. It's like an old song, Bobby Vinton. I feel like that's the song that most to me represents George's energy. But interestingly, like at the same time that I was like really solidifying the George character, doing this AIDS walk, like starting to perform, I was cat sitting for these folks in a different part of Brooklyn. So I was home alone. Like I have roommates here, so I like had the whole place to myself. There's this huge apartment, and so I was like, I would just like smoke a ton of weed and like practice my makeup or like whatever. And at the same time, I was also writing this song on the guitar. So I associate that as like George's theme song because to me they were kind of born, that song and the George character were born at the same time in the same place and kind of from the same like just from the same place emotionally. But like yes, official like songs in the world, Mr. Lonely by Bobby Vinton, which again, the kids aren't going to know what that is and that's fine. No one's going to know what that is. That's fine. I'm at peace with that.
You know, sometimes drag is just for us, and that's okay.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It
For sure.
honestly like has been so healing for me in different ways. So I definitely understand what you mean about having that shift going from like pick me energy to like this is for me and
Yeah.
whatever they feel is valid.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's there's like not like a taking back power per se, but just yeah, I mean no, that is what it felt like, right? Is it's just like, oh yeah, I don't have to like give all my power away to the audience. It's my job as a performer to kind of like wield that power, you know, interestingly and responsibly. So, yeah.
I love that. And it's such a like unique feeling to be on stage and feel like have that power to make the whole audience feel a certain thing.
Yes. Yes. Intoxicating.
It really is. And it's so hard to explain to other people that, but you had mentioned you have previous life experience that has helped with your drag. Can you give us an example of a specific skill or lesson from your past that you now use in your performance?
For sure, for sure. Because I will say, like, that is the nice one of the like I did. Okay, I said before it's hell starting drag in your late 30s. I stand by that. But also, some of the things that are cool about it are like I'm a bit more in my final form, I would say, and I also just have more lived experience to draw on. Like you know, even just like in terms of like social media presence, like sometimes I'll see people kind of popping off saying stuff and I'll be like, yeah, if I was 26, I would do that. But I'm not, I'm 39, so I keep those thoughts to myself, things like that. But like one very specific thing is my day job is that I'm a teacher. I teach at Parsons, which I forget is a flex because it doesn't feel like a flex when I'm doing it, but like technically I guess is a flex. And I have a master's degree it's like in TESOL, which is like education plus linguistics. So I spent a lot of time, you know, like, and I'm just like, I'm a language teacher. So I've spent a lot of time like studying language, studying sound, studying how to like exaggerate the movement of your mouth to show people how to make a specific sound when you're working on pronunciation. So for lip syncing, that comes in incredibly handy to like the amount of time I've spent just like breaking down like phonetically, like, you know, not what does the word say on the paper, what sound are they actually making? How should my lips look to make that? So just, I don't know, really random shit. Like I really truly believe not just for drag, but life in general, like it's all grist for the mill. You know, it's not like we're learning all the time. And if you're creative and clever and like, you know, on it, you can apply kind of whatever to whatever if you're paying attention. Yeah.
I love that. That is really cool and interesting. What is one thing you've learned about yourself since becoming a drag performer that you don't think you would have learned otherwise?
I mean, one thing that was just I like naively didn't even occur to me was that people would start to refer to me by my drag name. Like I just didn't think about that. I just didn't even know. I didn't even know to think about it. So it was like people started calling me George, which has come to be incredibly like gender affirming, and I love it. And
Mhm.
like just now, the coffee shop, like I introduced myself as George. But what's funny is like George is my he's dead now, but my uncle George. And so like my dad came to a show and I had to be like, Dad, just so you know, a bunch of people are gonna refer to me as George and talk about me as George. So that was something I like didn't anticipate, but learning about myself. Oh man, just like, yeah, I've got a lot of repressed anger. And I think like such a big part of my performance is about feeling empowered to express that anger and kind of taking back all these situations I was in where I was like perceived as the female or like actively performing femininity. And like part of that was like not being able to be mad, like shitty male partners I had for a long time. My ex-husband, I don't even want to give him the credit for like the impact that that relationship and like also subsequent relationships with similar dynamics had on my drag, but like that's huge, is just like kind of realizing like that was something I needed. I didn't realize I needed that, and I didn't realize that like by putting on this character, this face, this, George, and that's like, okay, now I'm a man, I'm a man in the world, that would allow me to like be angry and feel like I had a right to be angry. And that's just given me like so much food for thought. Like that's been like, oh man, I could talk about that in therapy for years, but it does feel therapeutic, like you've talked about. It feels so therapeutic. And like, yeah, just really learning like, oh, I do have this side to me that can be angry sometimes and can be sexy and like proud to be sexy. Like it just really has widened my expression, my gender expression and my emotional expression, not only as a performer, but then off stage as well, for sure.
I love that. I feel similarly with like cockiness, where like
Mm-hmm.
I generally don't have any confidence. But like when I am flame, like there's just a different level of like I feel like it's okay to be cocky and a little bit arrogant, and
Yeah.
it's a different feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, it's done wonders for like my confidence. And it like it feeds off of each other. Like I get more confident in my life outside of drag, and then I become more confident on stage, and then
Mhm.
like it really is a nice kind of feedback loop. Not that it's like a steady up and up. There's definitely been so many moments where I'm like, I'm terrible, I have to quit, or like the number of times that I have said verbatim, my drag career is over before it even started. So dramatic. Like so many, so many. But it's just like being a butt, just being a baby.
Yeah, it can be really hard to not compare our drag and our art to others. I
Totally.
For me personally, especially as a disabled artist, it's hard to not like compare myself to everybody else and be like everybody's so far ahead of me, everybody, but they also have more time and spoons and whatever their own life contains, and I have my own shit that I'm dealing with. So like,
Yeah.
everybody does the best with what they can, and I have resolved that my art is not for necessarily being perfect or the most best drag king. My art is for representation and making others feel seen. So as long as I'm doing that, who cares?
Exactly. No, and I've had like really kind drag friends say similar to me, or like say over and over, like it's quality, not quantity. And like
Hmm.
that, yeah, exactly. It's just like you're not 22. You're not 22. You're not,
Yeah.
you can't be kicking and twirling and dripping and dropping like 4 or 5 days a week. And it's yeah, but it is hard. I mean, and I think just like chronic illness and disability in general. I don't know, maybe there's people out there who are like fully at peace with it and aren't ever like, oh, I wish I had more energy, but I've yet to meet them. For me, that in and of itself is just like, but and then with drag, it is magnified away. And I think that
Hmm.
again, to it later, it's like I've waited so long to do this. You know, like how on Drag Race or whatever, that people will always be like, you know, I've wanted this my whole life, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, well, me too. And I've been alive twice as long as you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, so then that is so frustrating to wait so long and to like build so long towards something and want it for so long and then finally be able to do it. And then, yeah, like have your body be like, mm-mm, not today. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's just like, okay, but you can't compare yourself, right? Like we
Hmm.
can't to people who are like 22 and in good health because it's just like that's a different situation. So,
Definitely. Um, well, you had said that you had some questions you would like to ask me.
yes.
So we can go ahead and ask those now if you would like.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'll just go ahead and ask. We'll knock them out. So my first question for you, right, as like one disabled performer to another is just how does your disability, well, this is a two-part question, cheating already. How does your disability inform the type of drag that you do? Like, how does your disability factor into your drag? But then also, how does it affect the type of drag that you're able to do?
Um, as a so my disability pretty much informs all of my drag because my so when I started drag, my disability was not the center of it. It was I started drag for the gender performance and because I wanted to play with being more masculine and I had seen other performers explore their gender through drag and I was like that is a really cool story and I really like that so I'm going to try to do that as well. And my wife, like I said, gave me the space to explore whoever I wanted to be. And I think it was a couple of years into my drag that I started performing with my walker and I would have people coming up to me like, "Thank you so much. I've never seen anybody perform with a walker before." And so became that became my reason. Like,
Yeah.
and um I also the person who got me into burlesque 10 years ago, um she was chronically ill and we lost her in 2018. And so she has kind of also informed everything that I have done. So I try to do everything with the thought of representing for disabilities and chronic illness and being someone that the audience can see themselves in and making other people feel seen. And then after that, just have fun. And
Yeah.
it definitely does inhibit how I am able to do drag. Uh, for instance, when I first started doing burlesque, I thought, I've been doing the jump splits for years. I was in drill team and I didn't have to stretch. I've been flexible my whole life. I can just do the jump splits, no problem. Bitch, you're 27. That's not the case. I
Yeah.
tore both sides of my groin and I learned
No.
a very hard lesson that you always stretch before you go on
Yeah.
stage, and I have never done the jump split since.
Oh gosh.
But also with like costuming and stuff, it's
Yeah.
so hard to like it's painful. Everything is painful.
Yeah.
And it we do what we're able to do, but I almost always feel like something is missing or like I didn't get to do as much as I would like because of pain or fatigue or doctor's appointments, whatever.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, not even like on stage stuff, but like the prep for a
Yeah,
performance.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. No, that resonates for sure. Well, you kind of covered this a little bit, but I think you could say more. My next question was about just generally curious about your drag origin story. Like you were mentioning a sort of drag parent figure. Yeah, like how were you birthed into drag?
Um, so I started with burlesque back in 2015, and like I said, my friend Jet Black kind of got me in the door. She was a burlesque performer, and she told me how to like to start kittening and who to talk to. And then I took a burlesque workshop and created my first routine. And I did burlesque for like 10 years. And then, honestly, marrying my wife and feeling like I just have so much space, so much room for activities to be me.
Yeah.
She really like made me feel not just like okay to do what I want, but celebrated in that. And unlike other partners who would like judge me for doing burlesque or make side comments or whatever, she would help me. She's built giant ass props for me, and like she does the sewing on the sewing machine because
Oh, nice. Oh,
I
way
hate a
nice.
bobbin.
Yeah.
I could kill a bobbin, but yeah.
Cool. Oh, I love that. Yeah, no, all my costuming is glue. It's all glue. It's all like glue a thing to a thing. Sewing machine has not factored in. Um
Yeah.
well, okay, my next question. What is something about drag that you had no idea about before you started?
The politics and how gracefully you have to step as a performer, but even more so as a producer. Um, there's so many dynamics to navigate, and like, I don't know. It can be a lot of drama for no reason at all. And it is really challenging to navigate some situations.
For sure. For sure. Kind of piggybacking off of that, if you could give your baby drag self one piece of advice, you could go back in time and say, Precious Angel, what would it be?
Um, that your drag doesn't have to look like anybody else's, and the comparing thing that you should not be comparing your drag to anybody else's, because you are chronically ill and disabled. You are different from everybody else. And I probably would have saved my face a lot of pain because I'm highly allergic to makeup. And I thought for a while that I had to do it in order for my drag to be valid. And I thought that I had to do certain things, and that if I didn't do this a certain way, or if I didn't present as fully masc or fully femme or whatever, that like I couldn't be in the middle. And it's all drag is valid.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no. That was like me with wigs. I like tried it the once and I was just
Hmm.
I hate wearing wigs. I've always hated, I don't like the way things feel touching my head. Like, I just have never liked that. And I
No.
was just like, do it. Like, who said, like, and I do think that is kind of easier. I think the older I get is that people are like, but you, and I'm like, says who? Says who? Like, no, I don't. Like,
Mhm.
no, I don't. Or like, people are always given, I feel like drag kings, like, oh, you're too comfortable. Like, your outfits aren't uncomfortable enough. And I'm just like, you come talk to me about like pain. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I've served my time in the prison of female impersonation. I will be wearing comfortable
That part.
shoes and drag now. Thank you.
Yes.
Like I was married to a man named Chad. What do you want? I've served my sentence. Like, let me be comfortable. What do you want?
Yeah, there's a reason I left behind corsets.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. But those are my questions. Thank you for answering them.
Thank you. Thanks for asking questions.
Yeah.
It was really good to get to know you today. I'm so excited you joined me on the podcast. Now is time for my favorite segment I like to call the queerest thing I own. So if you could show me the queerest thing you own.
Okay. We're about to get a micro tour of many queer things, but we're gonna land on the queerest thing. So it's like there's all this
Perfect.
gay shit for sure, and like, I don't know, guitars, that's not very gay. And then we're gonna go right past my drag pile, which is very queer, just like this is what drag is, but I don't know if you can see it right there. That's a viola. And I think that's the queerest thing I own is my viola that I play. And I just think that's as about as gay as it gets is the viola. So
I love it. That's great. How many instruments do you play?
I mean, well, violin, viola, that's like what I grew up playing. I was a big, like, because people come to drag, a lot of people think I came up through music theater because I'm dramatic and love attention, which is fair, but I actually didn't. And I think people come to drag through like burlesque, music theater, regular theater. You'll get like cheerleaders, dancers, singers. I was in orchestra. Like I was really, really went so hard for orchestra in high school. And then like now I play guitar and do singer-songwriter, but I don't think that's as impressive.
I do. I think that's highly impressive.
I'll take it.
I love a singer-songwriter. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
To end the episode, would you like to play a game with me?
Always. I love games.
Sweet. We're going to play rapid fire Would You Rather.
Okay.
And then we'll let the people know where they can find you.
Nice. Awesome.
All right. Would you rather perform a whole number with your mustache half done or with your binder on backward? I don't know. Do you wear a binder?
I don't wear a binder, but so it would have to be mustache half done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or let's say instead of a binder, let's say like a button up or a blazer
on backward. Oh man. Then still mustache half done because I do I love shirt off, so if it's backwards, we're in trouble. The mustache half on I can pretend is like a creative choice.
Would you rather only be able to use duct tape for your beard or only be able to use spirit gum for binding?
We'll replace binding with my pasties because I have used spirit gum for that. And I would use spirit gum for that again, even though you're not supposed to, because I'm so precious about my face skin. I'm so precious about my complexion that like duct tape for the beard is whatever, but my tits, whatever can happen to them, that's fine.
Yeah, no. I can't do adhesive anything. Nothing adhesive.
Oh, my granny's like that. Allergic, like reaction. Mm-hmm. Bummer.
I have to use, luckily, I am chronically ill, so I get medical supplies, and they contain skin prep, which I use for drag. So,
nice.
Would you rather have a costume piece or prop break or completely forget half your routine?
I would rather have a piece or prop break. Because I feel like my thing is that literally every single show I've ever done, I've forgotten one essential element of the look, like a truly essential element of the act, and figured it out. But like blanking on stage, no, absolutely not. No, thank you.
I hate that. That is the worst. I tend to like improv it out and figure it out, but yeah, it's definitely easier to like play up a costume mishap. You can like make it goofy.
Make
Would
it your
you
signature.
rather? Yeah. Or you just waddle around with pants around your ankles all the time.
Exactly.
Would you rather only be able to perform in a three-piece suit in a sauna or in a tank top during a blizzard?
Three-piece suit in a sauna, which I feel like I practically did last summer. I did Beck Hook Pride, upstate New York, and it was like one of the hottest, muggiest days. And I performed at like midday, like 1 p.m., 2 p.m. in the sun on asphalt. So I just feel like done. I've done it. It was
Ugh.
awful. But I still survived. Yeah. Yeah.
At least you can take your clothes off, right?
I did. No, I literally went and jumped in a lake because my aunt lives in Woodstock, so I had her car. So like there's this lake between there, and I drove to the lake, parked, got out, took off all my clothes except like pasties and underwear, full drag face, and just walked into the lake. I was just like, I have to walk into a lake.
As someone who lives in Texas, I fully understand.
Yes, a lake, a lake. Yeah, for sure.
Would you rather have your song sound like a chipmunk's voice or have your music track randomly cut out during the chorus?
See, I'm down for either. I feel like I could like pivot either way, but I think chipmunk voice would just be funnier. So I would go for that
I
for the bit.
agree. Always do it for the bit.
For the bit. Yeah.
Would you rather be stuck doing a serious emotional number to a pop punk song or a high energy dance number to an elevator music ballad?
Today on the pod, I really don't love most pop punk. This is the thing me and D'Angelo, my brother, have the least in common. So I would not want to have to do anything to a pop punk song if I didn't have to. I think a high energy dance number to elevator music could be funny. I love a random juxtaposition. So I'd rather do that.
Same. There was
Sorry,
a point
pop
in
punk
time.
lovers, I hated it.
There was a point in time where I really wanted to do like a whole show of like sexy numbers to not sexy songs. Just like
I mean,
the most unsexy music, but you have to make it sexy.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that. I would watch that show.
I also did burlesque to the holding music. You know, when you call the doctor.
Yes. Oh, that's legendary. That's really good. I like that. I like that.
Let's see. I think two more. Would you rather only be able to perform to songs by boy bands or only be able to perform to songs by pop divas?
I'm gonna say boy bands, and I'm gonna caveat that we're including like old school doo-wop bands because I do so much Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. I've done like I think 3 so far. Like it is gonna become a problem, but like if we could even narrow it to that. Like you can only do boy bands from like the 1960s and 70s. Like fine, done.
Love it. Would you rather have your facial hair be a different clashing color every time you perform or have your hair be made of spaghetti noodles?
The different clashing color. Because again, I don't know. I just feel like that's an artistic choice I could stand by.
Yeah.
And I like get really horny for color palettes. I don't know why I didn't used to be this way, but like just like interesting color combinations, different color palettes. So I feel like I would enjoy that. Whereas like spaghetti, I can barely like I've struggled to feed myself in the day to day. Now I gotta make you know what I mean? Like I don't think spaghetti hair.
All right. Well, this has been super fun getting to know you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Can you tell the people where you'd like to be found?
Sure. You can find me on Instagram, or if you want to tip me, that would be random to tip me for this episode. But if you wanted to, I wouldn't say no. Both of them are the same. It's at Little George Big Glass. Little George Big Glass. This is based on a like poor millennial branding choice I made in my early 20s that I wouldn't make now. So that does Venmo, and that's my Instagram. I would love to see folks if you're in the Brooklyn or New York area at Tea Party, and just kind of shout out House of Glass, shout out, D'Angelo the Deviant, shout out Eugene Ryder Betta, shout out LaShaw, shout out Aya, shout out to my people. I didn't start with a house. The house has formed. So that's nice. Yeah.
Lovely. To end the episode, can you give me one piece of advice you have for new performers?
Say one piece of advice for new performers would be like, I'm trying to think of how to say it succinctly. I just think like trust yourself, trust your instincts, trust your vision. I can't count the number of times some like bitchy performer has poo-pooed something I thought was a good idea, and then I go on to do it and it's a great fucking idea, like trust your instincts, and trust your instincts about who is good to surround yourself with. I mean, in general, but also like, yeah, who is going to give you feedback that's based on like, that actually is kind of a dumb idea, but you could do this, as opposed to just like, I'm trying to cut you down because I don't know, for reasons that need therapy and not whatever this is, right? So yeah, just trust your instincts, trust yourself, trust your instincts. Like you know yourself, the art you want to make the art you want to make. Fuck everyone, like fuck them. I know you should care what the audience thinks, but the less I care, the more I enjoy. So I think like, yeah, make your art, and if they don't get it, that's can be a them problem. It doesn't have to be, but it could be. Yeah,
That is great advice.
thank you.
Thanks again. I
Oh my
hope you
gosh,
have
thank you
a
for
lovely day.
You too. Yeah. It was so lovely. Like, I'm just, again, chuffed, flattered, pleased. This was a delight. I hope if I'm ever in Texas or you're in the NYC area, we can hang out, do a show together. Yeah.
Definitely,
I'm
for
so
sure.
grateful for this opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, thank you again. I keep saying that. It was really good getting to know you. All right, have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.